We reported some, higher grade intercepts at Stockwork Hill, which were, that's higher grade compared to the block model. So that's very, very encouraging. All within open pit, all within 300 metres of surface too, or 400 metres.
Hello to those tuning in to the Assay TV, where today I am joined by the VP of Exploration for Xanadu Mines, Andrew Stewart. Xanadu are a junior exploration company currently operating in Mongolia, and they're one of the few junior exploration companies listed on both the ASX and the TSX who control a significant copper gold deposit as part of their Kharmagtai flagship project, which is operated under a 50-50 joint venture with Zijin Mining. Okay, welcome, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Assay.
Yeah, thank you, Katie.
Okay, so you've been operating in Mongolia for a while, but can we get a bit of a backstory to Xanadu and your key projects, please?
Yeah, so Xanadu is a copper and gold exploration company, and over the last 5 years, we've been working on a very good discovery in the South Gobi region of Mongolia. The project's called Kharmagtai. And this is a large open pit copper and gold project located about 100 kilometres to the north of the Oyu Tolgoi copper and gold deposit, which is in production now, Rio Tinto. So in the last 5 years, we've been taking this through the exploration stages. We've completed resources and a scoping study last year, and we're really into the hard phase of a PFS at the moment, and a very aggressive infill drilling program, and conjunction with that infill drilling program, an exploration program to expand the resources that we currently have.
Excellent. So we'll get on to that in a bit. But first, the company refers to 3 horizons quite frequently as part of its strategic overview. Can you just go into that a little bit more depth with that, please?
Yeah, I think that's an important question because we are an exploration company. We find assets, we take them through the exploration, the study phases, and then we look to partner with larger mining companies to get value for our shareholders with those assets. So our Kharmagtai project has gone through that cycle. Now it's in the PFS stage. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but we have a funding there with Zijin, one of the largest Chinese copper and gold explorers, that allow that project to go forward. But Horizon 2 is about the exploration within that district, and that's going at the moment. We have a deep drill hole drilling at the moment, looking for the deeper parts of the system. When we look at Kharmagtai, we've put together a large open pit resource, but the grades are getting better with depth, and that's really encouraging. So, putting that resource together, putting that scoping study together, working on the PFS has really given us the license now to drill deeper, and we're doing that. And in the background, we're also, with our deep knowledge of Mongolia, exploration being in our DNA, we're looking to secure newer projects and expanding the portfolio, which is great. Looking at other commodities outside copper, things like nickel, and so forth, and all the commodities we need for the future and in the battery world.
Excellent. So you just mentioned strategic partnerships with Zijin last year, I believe, was it? Can you go into a bit more depth about that, and what does that mean for the company?
Well, I think in a nutshell, what it means is that Xanadu is lucky enough to have a partner here that can take this project through now to final investment decision to mine. And importantly, when I look at a company like Zijin, it's a company that's got the bank balance to actually build the project. So, I think you can do lots of deals out there to progress a project, but building a relationship with someone that has the balance sheet to build a project is very important. So this PFS is advancing rapidly, and you'll start seeing sort of mine readiness coming into play. It's an exciting time to be in. It's a great deal, and this is a project which is on the doorstep of the world's biggest consumer, so it only makes sense that a deal with a company like Zijin is the way forward for this project.
And in terms of Mongolia kind of as a jurisdiction, how does that compare to other popular mining jurisdictions?
Well, I look at Mongolia, and it's a place where we look around the world at the moment, and it's a country where Rio Tinto has built the most recent tier 1 asset in Oyu Tolgoi, and that went from an exploration project into commercial production in pretty rapid time. Some would say sort of record time, and the underground now is advancing rapidly. So, for us, for a junior explorer, it's about proof of concept. You want to go to places where that if you find something, you can maintain tenure and you can actually build a project. And we can tick those boxes. So for us, it's a great place to work. We're not worried about infrastructure. We're connecting to the power grid on our project as we speak now. We're drilling a very large water resource close by the project. We have railway lines within 7 kilometres of the project. And that's really the tidal wave of infrastructure that comes when you've got very large projects around you. Within 100 kilometres, we have the 3rd biggest copper project. But we also have one of the world's largest coking coal projects. So, infrastructure comes when you have these very large deposits, and we're able to ride off the back of that infrastructure. It's funny working in a long time in this industry, and you might be somewhere and you're thinking, gee, where are we going to get power from? How are we going to get our product to market? Those worries are swept aside with the Kharmagtai project. We're focused on turning this into the best project we can get, and doing that with the drill bit and our PFS team in terms of studies.
Okay, so let's look at Kharmagtai in a little bit more depth. The company's recently done some diamond drilling there. Can you tell us a bit more about that and any other drilling currently underway?
So that's all about taking the current resource and taking what's in the optimized pits and taking the inferred material and taking it to indicated. So more confidence in the resource, but it's also got an element of trying to expand it too. And we reported some, higher grade intercepts at Stockwork Hill, which were, that's a higher grade compared to the block model. So that's very, very encouraging. All within open pit, all within 300 metres of surface too, or 400 metres. And we're coming to an end of that phase now. So what we'll do is we come to the end of that, we'll do a quick assessment of what those numbers mean, probably be a little bit more drilling to do, and that will put that resource in a position that we can take it through to a renewed resource update with everything within the open pit is indicated later this year. So it's exciting project, and as I said, it's we're getting a little bit of a luck along the way as we progress this resource drilling.
And you've also been using some quite interesting technology to aid the PFS. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we are. We're using the box scan technology, and really this is about getting consistency in the logging, getting us rapid information, and we're very about total ore deposit knowledge models. So we're not just building a resource model, it's a resource model that could be handed to a metallurgist, a resource model can be handed to an engineer for mining, and it'll have everything from rock strength to metallurgical recoveries. So we're about drilling ore deposits once and doing it properly the first time. So that technology is allowing us to rapidly collect a lot of data as we're drilling. And that puts us in a fantastic position to move quickly with our studies and come up with an end result and work towards that final investment decision.
And so let's look at, you mentioned previously widening your portfolio. Let's go into a bit more depth about that, and regarding your red mounting exploration, can you share with us what's happening there as well?
Well, we have an amazing exploration team. As I said, we've taken Kharmagtai from what was a small project to, a 1 billion tonne resource with 3 million tonnes of contained copper and 8 million ounces of gold in 4 years. So that just shows, the ability of the Xanadu exploration team to advance a project. So, as that project advances forward, Kharmagtai will go through the study phases and eventually go through into development of a project. We make use of that high caliber exploration team to get out and look for new projects. And as I pointed out, we have deep experience in Mongolia. A lot of us have worked there on and off for over 20 years. So we're out looking for some newer projects, and it's about renewing that pipeline of projects. Red Mountain is an advanced copper and gold project. That will be, we're looking forward to getting back there and drilling. It's already got some economic intervals of copper and gold over, broad spacing. So it's got all the right indications. It looks very much like a Kharmagtai type another system in the South Gobi. But it's all about maintaining that portfolio. The more projects you look at, the more projects you turn over in this industry, the more successful you can be. So we abide to that philosophy exploration. So yeah, it'd be nice. You know, and as I said, luckily it's great to see, you know, we've got board support to broaden that strategy. You know, exciting for things like nickel. I mean, you know, a lot of people have looked in Mongolia for copper, but there's been very little nickel exploration. We know in the western part of China and Kazakhstan, those belts come into Mongolia, and we know they go out of Mongolia in the eastern part of China. So, you know, the question is the geology doesn't change. There's just been no exploration for those commodities. So it's really exciting. You know, hopefully we can deliver news on that as we work through the second part of this year.
So if you're going to summarise for investors what they could look out for from Xanadu in the next 12 months, what would you say?
Well, with 6 drill rigs running at Kharmagtai and a lot of work on, we're certainly going to have a lot of news flow in terms of drilling results. And that's a combination of infill drilling, you know, proving up what we have, expanding it, making it better. We also have shallow exploration going on at the project. So this is a big district, Kharmagtai, over 40 square kilometres. We're now putting a drill hole in every single shallow anomaly we have in the district. And that's the shallow exploration. And, you know, we have a deep drill hole going, which could be a real game changer. You know, we're looking at putting together a 30-year plus open pit project here. It'd be great if we could find an underground mine that had a 30-year mine life to complement that. So, you know, that's really what we're looking for at Kharmagtai. So a lot of news flow, studies going on, metallurgical work, geotech engineering. So I don't know many companies out there at the moment in this space that are drilling aggressively, and that comes from our funding from our partner in Zijin. So, you know, drilling means news flow. So I think that's the key things to look out for, and delivery of a nice PFS next year.
Well, it certainly sounds like Xanadu's got a lot happening in the next few months. And thank you so much for joining us today. Catch up soon.
Thank you, Katie.